All right, so I wanted to create a really quick video just to go over this incident that happened in the news recently. And more or less, what had happened is that after inaugurations, presidents usually go to a church service. And in this particular sermon, there was a bishop who was providing the service, and she essentially made a plea to Donald Trump. And a lot of the conversation that I've seen around this has been focused on, was she right? Was she wrong? So what I want to do is I want to take a really quick look at the video, and then I'll give my thoughts on it, which I think are a little bit more nuanced because it has sparked a lot of outrage from the right and a lot of people justifying it from the left. And I'll try and do my best to present both sides of that argument, but then also provide my take on, was she right? Was she wrong? Was there maybe a better way that this could have been presented? So let's take a look at this clip, and then I'll get into it after that.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
So I have a few issues with this, but again, I'll kind of present both sides and then get into it where my mind is at on it. So from the left, the main talking point that I've seen is that this is just Christian values. She's totally within her right. This is just kind of par for the course. So this is not really surprising that she would do this. And from the right, everyone is just outraged. Why is she, doing this? And this is, inappropriate. And, it shouldn't be proselytized. So my opinion on it is kind of in the middle and a little bit more nuanced, I would like to think. And that is, yes, number one, this is not really the time or place for this. And in my viewpoint, I think she actually is doing a disservice, because to me, what it comes across as is she doesn't really actually care about the things that she's talking about. She just wants attention. This is her 15 minutes of fame, which, right, I'm making a video about it. I've seen tons of other videos about it. Congratulations, you accomplished your goal on that front. From the viewpoint of, I'm actually trying to change someone's mind, if she actually cared about what she's talking about people being afraid and, trying to be forgiving, this is an incredibly ham-fisted way to go about trying to change someone's mind. No one, especially not Donald Trump, my take on Donald Trump is that beating him over the head with your ideology is not going to change his mind. There is a much more subtle way that she could have went about presenting this, like make the entire sermon about being accepting of other people who are different than you. There are tons of passages in the Bible that you could select from during this sermon. So the way that she went about doing it is I think self-serving and self-promoting. I don't think that there is, it doesn't seem very genuine to me when someone goes about doing it in this way. The other issue that I have is factual based, and in the things that she chooses to talk about. The examples of immigrants and the different jobs that they hold. Again, I don't think hospitals are hiring immigrants. That's kind of a weird talking point. And, trans kids. Again, this is something that's not very popular and is a cultural battleground that I don't think she's winning with this argument. But again, those are kind of secondary. It's nitpicking on the actual content of what she said, which I think is only secondary to the main point that I have, which is just this is not for anyone but herself. And I think there is a lot of outrage, but from the right that didn't really touch on. I feel like they knew that it felt inauthentic, but they weren't able to express how. At least the people that I heard talk about it, right? They had a bunch of other points that are fine, but it's completely missing the point that this is just a disingenuous plea. And so that's really kind of where my mind is at on it. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video really quick to go over that. It's something that I have not seen talked about, but I think is really important. And I think with the news cycle, the way it has been, everything's blown up, and it's very easy to miss this. But this was one where it got popular, at least a little bit, and I wanted to call attention to, at least in my opinion, the things that were kind of wrong with how it was carried out. So anyway, again, just a really quick video. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, leave a subscription. See my new content when it comes out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.